Good evening from Bobblehead Homestead. I am Jeff. Today I'm going to set up an incubator. This is a Hova-Bator. The model is 1602N, thermal air 1602N. Yep, Hova-Bator, and mine comes with a turner. Okay, let's I just pulled it out of the box. This was gifted to me way too long ago, and I'm excited to give it a try. Put it into my rotation of incubating eggs and my other incubator. So let's set this up. Read the instructions. Okay, I've removed the various parts, and now it looks like we have the bottom is inside the top, so let's pull out the bottom. Yes, and you can see there is a notch there for the cord. That is definitely a fan. That is the heat element. I'm no expert, but this is what we have when we turn it around. Yep. Okay, I've removed the parts. Now it's time for step one, and that is to put the liner in. The liner is this clear plastic with indentations, and that is where those are water reservoirs, so that you can better control the humidity level in the incubator. From the picture on the instructions, it shows you where the notch is for the electrical cord, and then it shows you how to position this based on the notch. My notch is right here in this corner, and so I want these four square areas, reservoirs, to go right here. Okay, easy enough. Step one. So step one is just to put this clear plastic water reservoir into the bottom in the right placement. There are four different reservoirs. They're not all connected together, and each one is numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, and of course you want the indentation going down so that it'll hold water. But each one is a different size. So number 1 is holds the most water. Number 4 holds the least water. So you can adjust this for your climate. I'm in Arkansas. My climate is going to be vastly different than somebody in Arizona, for example. So these are a way that you can better regulate your humidity by putting the amount of water in there. The brochure instructions say that number 1 will hold water roughly for about 3 days until you will need to replace it. So, yep. Recommendations: you need less water during the incubation period. When they're hatching, they do need a little bit more humidity, so you would add a little bit more water, and it explains that in here. Very nice instructions for step 1. Another tip in this instruction sheet that I thought was very interesting, it says, caution, about halfway through incubation process, you will note that the temperature will be increasing and you will have to adjust thermostat down nearly 1 full turn. This is normal and is caused by the embryo forming into a chick and generating heat. Interesting. So about halfway through your incubation process, for chickens it's 21 days. So at 10 or 11 days, the chicks that are forming may start creating heat, which will cause the temperature to increase a little bit. So you want to keep your eye on it about halfway through. Make sure that your temperature and humidity levels are still within the parameters that you want. The next step is to place the thermostat controller. You've got a this is the adjusting screw. It's got a little L on there. And you've got a wing nut. And then you've got this metal plate. So that will be the next step after placing the plastic reservoir. And it instructs you to put the wing nut, start the wing nut on the adjusting screw. Alright, and you're going to want it to come out the other end far enough that you're going through the lid of the incubator. Okay, and it shows you right where to stick it. The metal disc will go under this, so you have to slide the metal disc in, and this goes through the top. And then once you get it tightened, then you tighten the wing nut down and you're good to go. And there are then further instructions on how to set it up for the first time. So, yep, just follow the instructions, and so far the instructions are pretty good. My Hova-Bator incubator model has the automatic turner. You can also get it without the turner, and if you do get it without the turner, it comes with a plastic. These used to be metal wire metal trays, but this is a plastic tray, and it just sits right on top of your plastic reservoir. And this is a pretty good instruction sheet. If you don't have the turner, you're going to have to manually rotate the eggs, and it gives you suggestions and ideas on how often to do that in this brochure. So this is pretty good. But since my model does have the automatic turner, I need to move on to the instructions in step 2. So the first instruction here is to orient the tray correctly. And what you can kind of see, this is just a flat, thin piece of plastic. You can see that the eggs will fit in the slot, and as this moves side to side, the eggs will roll on the bottom. That's the theory. It'll be interesting. I've never used one of these before, so we will see. Now I want to orientate this correctly according to the drawing. Oh, gotta move my card slot here. And the one thing to note, there's a rivet right here, and on the other side is where you screw it into. So you want this side up, and you want the notch going that way. Easy enough. Alright, this is the motor mount. This is what will cause that tray to slide along and rotate your eggs, and you just follow the instructions to place it in the incubator. When placing the turner motor on the side, there's an arm that comes out, and you want to position that. There's a hole in the end, and it goes over that nut right there so that you can line it up, and then you will put the screw in there. Okay, the screw goes in easy enough. Okay, after placing the motor, which turns the turner, there is a slot where you want the cord to go so that you can make sure that you get a tight seal when you put the lid on. And that's it for the turner. Plug it in and you're good to go. Which I'm going to plug it in and see if it works. The turner has been plugged in, and you can see that arm there. It moves so slow you're not going to see it, within a matter of a minute or two. But keep it plugged in. Come back and look at it 10-15 minutes later and make sure that arm is moving and your turner is automatically moving those eggs around. So then we can place the lid on the incubator. There's a slot here for the cord that will line up with this corner with the notch in it. And so we get that in there, and with the motor on there, it's a little bit of a snug fit, so you want to make sure to get it all the way sealed. Okay, there we go. Now my model, all models will come with a thermometer, and this is a useful tool. Put it on. They suggest either on top of the eggs or on the side of them if you don't have a full incubator. My model also came with this hygrometer. It reads the temperature and the humidity, and there's a separate sheet of instructions for those. This set of instructions gives you the humidity levels that you want to target. For chicken eggs, you want to incubate them at 99.5 degrees, and while they are incubating, you want the humidity to be 45 to 55% until the last 3 days. That's when you go on lockdown, and in the last 3 days you want to increase the humidity to 65 to 80%. So this will help gauge that, and that's it's just a little battery operated thing that you can set inside your incubator. And okay, we'll come back in a while, make sure that the turner is turning, and I will plug this in and see if I can't get it up to temperature, and away we'll go. Alright, everything is hooked up and operational. I have the thermometer and the hygrometer in there. You can view them through the viewing windows. Now I will place the lid on and seal it. And with this, you can watch the temperature. It's the first time setting up, and then you will use this, adjusting it, you know, right and left to get your desired temperature. So that can take a while. So yeah, before you want to put eggs in there, you want to make sure and get this plugged in, and then monitor it for probably a few hours to make sure you're getting up to the right temperature. This is about 20 minutes later. The arm that's the automatic turner arm has moved. It was in this position, it's moved to that position, so I know that's working. And the temperature was up to 104, so that means I have to adjust the temperature, and I'll get the temperature to 99.5 and leave it overnight and see where it is in the morning. It is about 45 minutes later. The automatic turner the arm is moving around, and I have the temperature dialed in to about 99.5 degrees. It takes a little adjustment and getting used to it, but the humidity level is 37-38% without any water in there, so that gives me a baseline to go from. Now this is not where I'm going to be incubating eggs, so I will be moving this to that location and going through this again, and I'll be adding water to get the humidity into that 45 to 55% range, and I'll be ready to incubate some eggs. So if you are interested in the Hova-Bator model 1602N, this is it. I haven't used it yet, but I'm getting ready to. This is the unboxing and setting it up so that when you've got some interesting eggs that you want to hatch, I'm giving it a try. Thanks for watching, everybody, and take her easy.